Hello again and welcome to another Fishing Planet video. This time it's all about the bass, all about the bass. No, it's not, it's all about the bass. And it's fish tag coordinates 4. And we start at Nairn River, going for the historic smallmouth bass. You can see the spot that I decided on, which is by the Land Rover, and you can fish either side. As you can see, I actually caught more on this side than the other, and I did this very quickly indeed, so I don't think you'll have any problem with this at all. It probably took a quarter of an hour, if that, probably more like 10 minutes. Pulled them out very quickly. I didn't really even need to shuffle on in terms of time either, so hopefully you should find this one fairly easy. Just a note on the America spinnerbait, if you haven't used it before, it's quite a versatile spinnerbait lure, and I actually use it quite a lot at St. Croix for muskie and northern pike, and also I seem to remember it works very well at the Everglades for butterfly peacock bass, which you'll see is the second target species on the left, not using that lure. But yes, I think it's probably a little bit of an underrated lure in my opinion. As I say, I use it quite a lot. So make sure you've got one or two before the end of the 4th of July period is over. You can see we pulled out a couple of fish, a normal smallie, and there's another normal smallmouth bass. The other side of this Land Rover is one of the spots for the gar, but actually it doesn't seem as though they're very interested in the spinnerbait. So I think you can pretty much go either side. Well, you can go either side of the Land Rover, as I say, but this side worked better for me. So not really very much more to say on this one, other than they see the last of the 4 smallmouth bass coming in. So that knocks that one off the list for us, and we can move on to the Everglades, where we'll be looking for historic butterfly peacock bass. Now I'll show you the map in a minute, but this is the top position, and this is actually again the last fish to be caught. He used the Liberty medium spoon, 28 grams on a 4.0, and again this was very straightforward. I do quite a lot of fishing for butterfly peacock bass, and didn't have any problem with this at all. So you can see that one get ticked off the list, but I'll just show you on the map where that actually is. That's right on the very top position, and you can see it's highlighted at the moment. If we move down to the next one, the middle position, there we go. This is far more normally associated with peacock bass. So all the way along you can see all of my markers for the peacock bass competition. Particularly to the right is good for spinning. So yeah, that's where I caught the majority of the fish. So we now move on very rapidly to Cronchkin, where we are looking for the largemouth bass, and those are the 3 spots that I would go with. the middle one, obviously, the pelican hut goes off to a lot of different places, but just want to show you this spot first, which is down at the bottom where the cannon and the flag is. The old tobacco, I think it's called, or something like that. And you're using the bullfrog popper, which again is a very valuable thing to have in your armoury. So this 4th of July series allows you to pick up a lot of lures and things that will be of great use, you know, in tournaments and competitions and just normal fishing, to get you the biggest unis you can. So this bullfrog popper is particularly good for bass, but it's also very good for pickerel, actually here in Cronchkin for the Dancing with Pike competition. It's just about the right weight. It can get down the longest sort of channel that is used in the Dancing with Pike competition. So do make sure you get yourself one of those as well, a bullfrog popper, 18 grams on a 3/3/0. So this is actually a location that's very good for grass pickerel as well. Sorry, chain pickerel as well. But it's also good for largemouth bass. So just wanted to show you this position first. The good thing about any frog popper is that it will go over weeds, of course, so you're actually looking to try and get the frog popper to go from plain clear water to weeds or reeds or lily pads or whatever, and then come over and out the other side, and that's often when the fish will go for it. So moving over to one of the other spots, this is a particularly good spot for the largemouth bass, all the way along this edge here. In fact, the closer in to the edge of that sort of bank, in terms of the plants you can get it, the better your chances of getting, in the normal way, a uni largemouth, or a very large mouth anyway. So my markers here are for both bass and pickerel. Again, the chain pickerel are here, but they tend to be the smaller ones here. But it's just single speed, or rather speed 1, just popping every now and again. And you need 5 of these, and as you can see we had 3 before this one that's coming up. They fight really quite hard considering this is as use, and I think the line that's on it is something like 9. This is only a sort of 3 kg fish, but they really do fight very hard. Take quite a bit of getting in. I could have upped the line strength, but seems crazy when you're talking about bass of that size, but they really do fight. So I think this is fluoro 0.9. So that's the 4th of the historic largemouth. And just going to pop back to this other spot again, just to show you one being caught from this side. Again, just a case of getting it just the other side of that section of weeds in the water, and either pulling straight through in the clear water or pulling through that reed section as well, this weed section as well. So this is the last of our largemouth bass. Excuse me. And we now can move on to the last species of bass, and that's at St. Croix. So the white bass, the historic white bass, is our last target, and there's only one spot that I know of for white bass at St. Croix, and that's just here. So you're fishing off the dock and fishing across to the other side of the dock. I did actually just experiment a bit today when I was doing this to see whether it's reachable from the other side. You have to walk a little way back, and you can actually stand the other side of those reeds, but it's impossible to see what you're aiming at. But I did pull out a couple of walleye, so you can reach that area, but much easier to do it from this side. But on the subject of walleye, that will be your one problem. If you have a 2/0 hook on, as I did there, 14 gram 2/0 jig head, then you will pick up some walleye in this area. They're pretty much everywhere in the main body of the lake, straight ahead of us and behind us, sort of out from the dock. So you could see immediately that was going to be a walleye. It was diving straight down. It wasn't a bad size walleye actually, and they pay very well. So if you're trying to look at the cost of all the travel involved in doing this mission or these missions, then obviously you might want to look at doing a bit of farming or whatever, and so I wasn't averse to catching a few walleye along the way. But basically just hitting that spot on the other side between the end of the wall of the dock and the reeds a bit further away will sooner or later net you a white bass, historic white bass. That's what they look like. And once again, on the subject of walleye, I was trying various sort of ideas to try and stop catching the walleye, to avoid catching them, because they did become a bit of a problem. And the only thing I could come up with, which did seem to work, was keeping it very, very shallow. So you can see on this cast, not even letting it get halfway down. I'm keeping it in the top half of the view of the spinning view on the top right. So even probably keeping it in the top third, and you'll see when this historic white bass strikes, it's really quite high up in the water, and that did cut out the walleye. The walleye tend to be much further down, but this did seem to fix that problem. The walleye love anything with a jig head, grubs and worms and shads and things like that, so no surprise that they go for them. But as you can see, keeping it above a certain height seemed to fix that problem. And there we go with the last of our historic white bass. And now the real fun begins. One thing to note there is you do get 9,000 for that, so having travelled to St. Croix, which is not cheap, it does at least pay you a little bit back. So we move back to Cronchkin, where we now have to do the canoe, which is a little bit of a pain to say the least. Now the problem is that the canoe is here, right in the middle, between this spot and the lower spot here. It's almost equidistant, but it's quite slightly closer to the top one. I'll show you it from the bottom, and you can see it in the middle of the screen there. But if you take it from the top and just stand right over on this right hand side, that, I think, as far as I can see, is the closest you can get. So then what you want is a rod that can cast that far, so you're looking at 60 meters. So you want the heaviest spoon you've got, and the heaviest one I had was my roach spoon, which is 42 grams, but obviously if you've got a 48 gram tiger spoon or something like that, then that would be even better. But you're looking to try and hit that canoe or somewhere near it, and the real pain is even at full speed, that's on full speed reel in, it takes quite a long time to reel in each time. So I've shortened this section massively because I had quite a lot of goes at it, and this is actually the successful one. I think this is about 6 goes later, but to save you the pain of all that reeling in, there we go, that's hit it, and you can see it's disappeared on the right hand side. And when I then actually reeled in, it had actually taken, which was a bit of a relief. So just reeling in the relic chest now then for the 4th fish tag coordinates mission. And there it is. And so that's the end of that one. And we'll be moving on next to fish tag coordinates 5. And I will see you in the next video for that. Look forward to seeing you then. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.